Today, Ho Chi Minh City glows with high-tech infrastructure and neon light. But less than 50 years ago, this landscape was reduced to ruined jungle. Following decades of conflict, Vietnam's GDP per capita sat at barely $150. Within a single generation, the nation has moved from the edge of starvation to the center of the global manufacturing world. To see how that happened, we have to start with the French Indochina Federation. For nearly a century, the colonial power extracted rubber, rice, and minerals, subjecting the local population to forced labor and heavy taxation. After pushing out the French, the region was immediately engulfed in the Vietnam War. Over 4.6 million tons of bombs permanently scarred the agricultural land, and up to 3 million soldiers and civilians perished. When the country finally reunified under a socialist republic in 1975, it faced a complete vacuum. Its infrastructure was obliterated, and over 3 million refugees fled. The economic boom we see today started from an absolute 0 point. By the late 1980s, attempts to rebuild under a strict command economy had stalled. The system was rigid, rations were scarce, and the population was starving. Facing total collapse, the government introduced a desperate policy package in 1986, known as Doi Moi, or renovation. They needed to inject market dynamics into a socialist framework. They started in the fields. State agricultural collectives were dismantled. Farmers were allowed to rent individual plots of land, and crucially, they could keep and sell any surplus crops they grew beyond their state quotas. The government then lifted price controls on consumer goods and passed a landmark foreign investment law, allowing outside capital to fund private businesses. Doi Moi revitalized the rural economy and saved the population from starvation, but a massive U.S. trade embargo was still in place. Vietnam's global potential remained frozen until it could access Western capital. In 1994, the United States officially lifted that embargo. Global corporations immediately recognized a highly disciplined labor force and a favorable business climate. Nike arrived almost instantly. Within a year, they set up dedicated manufacturing facilities to capitalize on the newly available workforce. Adidas quickly followed, scaling operations aggressively. They eventually turned Vietnam into their largest global sourcing hub, responsible for 40% of their footwear production. To maintain this momentum, the government cut bureaucratic red tape and signed sweeping free trade agreements across Europe, Asia, and North America. This chart tracks the surge in foreign direct investment. It shows a steep, continuous upward trajectory as multinational corporations moved into the country. By 2023, the country attracted $36.6 billion, a 32.1% jump from the previous year. This strategic integration has transitioned Vietnam from an isolated state into an indispensable gear in the global supply chain, now projected to see the fastest wealth increase of any nation over the next decade. Soon, the nation began moving up the value chain. Factories shifted from stitching basic garments to assembling sophisticated electronics and computer hardware. Tech titans poured billions into the country. Samsung committed up to $20 billion. Apple expanded its footprint, and Intel constructed its largest global assembly and testing facility right outside Saigon. This map illustrates a major driver behind that tech boom. As U.S.-China trade tensions rise, shipping lines are physically diverting away from the Chinese coast and redirecting south into Vietnam, part of a global China Plus One strategy. Companies want supply chain stability, and you can see the physical reality at maritime borders, like the port of Haiphong, where cargo volume has surged to handle the massive output of high-tech exports. But foreign assembly is only one step. Vietnam's first major domestic automaker, VinFast, represents a push to build sovereign intellectual property. They launched their VF8 electric SUV directly into the highly competitive U.S. market. The initial critical reception was disastrous. Instead of retreating, VinFast engineers immediately retooled their factories, pushed rapid software updates, and forced a hyper-proactive iteration of the vehicle. While the vehicle still requires heavy refinement, the speed of this overhaul signals a shift in the nation's economic identity. Vietnam is no longer satisfied with simple assembly. It is now targeting high-value domestic innovation. Today, Vietnam boasts a total GDP of over $400 billion. But behind the glowing skylines of Ho Chi Minh City lies a stark double reality. 61% of the population still lives in rural areas. For many in these regions, access to basic resources and high-paying opportunities remains heavily restricted. 10% of the working class remains on the absolute knife edge of poverty. A single medical emergency or a localized economic shock is enough to wipe out a family's financial stability. Furthermore, the massive influx of rapid foreign wealth has bred a severe systemic risk of corruption at the highest levels of business and government. This vulnerability was exposed by the historic trial of billionaire real estate tycoon Trung My Lan, who orchestrated a massive multi-year financial fraud scheme. As this scale visualization shows, her syndicate siphoned off roughly $12.5 billion. That massive theft weighs down the economy, fracturing the value equal to a staggering 3% of the entire nation's GDP. Vietnam has built an extraordinary economic engine from the ashes of conflict, but its ultimate test won't be determined by the height of new skyscrapers. It will be determined by its ability to eradicate systemic corruption and ensure the fruits of this boom reach all its citizens.